I'm back, bitches. There's just stare. Okay, we're doing the ick list. Oh,
Welcome back to the comment section. I'm Brett Cooper. Guys,
the comment section with Brett Cooper. This TikTok trend is destroying dating. So pretty much context from what I know of this, because I've actually seen the ick list on TikTok, is it's a list of all the things girls have said on this ick trend that is ick with men. A lot of them are jokes, like, obviously.
guys, today we are talking about the infamous ick list.
Do
If you have no idea what I'm talking about, allow me to enlighten you because the subject is very funny and it has been trending on social media for a while now. It's not really a specific trend that's happening right now. It's just been going on for a couple of years. More and more people are doing it and more people are taking it seriously, which is why we're going to discuss it. So the word ick entered the mainstream with women finding icks to discuss it. So the word, more and more people are doing it and more people are taking it for a while now. It's not really a specific trend that's happening right now. It's just been going on for a couple of years because the subject is very funny and it has been trending on social media for a while now. It's not really a specific trend that's happening right now. It's just been going on for a couple of years. More and more people are doing it and more people are taking it seriously, which is why we're going to discuss it. So the word ick entered the mainstream with women finding icks or red flags about their prospective partners or their boyfriends, husbands, fiancés, whatever. This really started as a lighthearted, not serious, funny trend, but with this latest list of icks, say that 10 times fast, that seems never ending, I think this whole trend is revealing something that is very harmful about the dating environment of our current generation, and we're going to get into that today. Before we do, though, make sure that you like.
Stop the ad break. I'm sorry, we're gonna have to wait a second. There's an ad break in here. But okay, I'll tell a funny story of like my guy friends talking about their icks, because everyone has icks realistically. It's just like a natural reaction of like repulsiveness. Like when you just like, even if it's not super serious, if you have a little bit of a kind of thing. A common one of my guy friends is when she tries to call you daddy, like really, and you don't. Like, they're like, for a lot of guys, that's a huge ugh, and that's an ick. That's kind of like that. Or something like that, you know, where your natural thing is like, oh, I don't like that. Mine is being called mommy, like, seriously, by someone, sexually, if they try. Like, I've had some people hit on me with that, and, like, in some situations, and I was like, you know? And it's like, so there's obviously reasonable people. Some people put anything that's like not attractive as an ick, but this guy has made a list of all the icks, pretty much. There's things that make you go, ew, yeah.
Like this video, subscribe to the channel if you have not already, and ring that notification bell so that you never miss a comment section episode. All right, so it's mainly women that post these icks, and they are doing it all the time. So one TikTok account took it upon himself to compile an insane list of these women's dating icks. And to all my guys out there, I'm going to warn you in advance, you are shit out of luck, at least according to the, let's see, number 585th ick, which is the latest addition to this list. There are 585 reasons that women apparently do not like you and do not want to date you. Dear God. All right, let's watch this video.
When he takes a nap, it irrationally...
This is ridiculous. Okay, I'd like to think maybe that's a mom or something, but it sounds fucking crazy when he takes a nap.
Ick videos going down.
Sounds
there
insane.
We go. 585. Don't take a nap.
Napping is for the women.
That's the latest, guys.
I'm in my high school group of girls put together a list of every guy in school cataloging what they hate about them.
You can't. The
How do they
reads,
know their
we can't
pee
even
size,
rest
though?
without it being a problem.
How do
No,
they
you
know their
cannot,
pee
because
size?
napping might irrationally annoy your partner. Somebody commented and said, I must admit, after
No
being
sleeping
single, I have a
allowed.
nap all the time. Nobody
No
gets mad at me.
sleeping.
Sometimes I text my ex to tell her I'm napping. Somebody else said he only takes a nap to avoid talking to her. That might be the case. Somebody else said, so they have a list of what they don't like. Can we, LOL? And somebody said, no, we can't, or we'll get canceled. Yes! Like, honestly, just imagine if this was a trend among men complaining about women. The shrieking and crying that would occur online would literally shake the earth. It really reminds me of this thing that happened on a college campus. I don't remember what school it was at particularly, but these women compiled a list online of men that they had gone out on dates with that they thought were harmful, dangerous, weird, and kind of like as a warning for other women, like don't go out with them, and you could go and search and see if the guy that you were dating or wanted to go out with was on this list. And guys were speaking out and saying, well, just because you didn't like me doesn't mean that somebody else is gonna like me, and just because you thought we had a weird interaction doesn't mean that I'm, you know, harmful. And they were saying, what if we made a list about you? And obviously the women were like, ah! That is what would happen.
Okay, I don't actually think that's so bad. I don't care either way, but I do think it's good, like, that the problem is vetting those things. I don't think it's bad to warn people. It's like catfishes on, like, dating apps and stuff. You'd want some warning, right? It's the same thing, I think. I don't think it's a bad idea, but the problem is vetting what is said is truthful is the problem, I think. But I don't have a problem either way. I think men should be worried.
That is exactly what would happen if men started compiling icks about women. But I digress. Here is yet another ick.
What gives you the ick?
When a boy puts a seatbelt on in the car.
I'm too Australian to understand this.
Repulses me. Oh, we're actually at 588 now. Don't
crazy.
put on
a seatbelt. Give her the benefit that she's very drunk.
Don't be safe. She doesn't care if you get in a car crash and die, because at least she wouldn't have had the ick. The caption on that one is, we're not even allowed to follow the law anymore. But no, that is an ick in itself, actually.
Realize with the
Don't bend a knee.
It's like some icks are irrational. That is the point of an ick. It's an irrational reaction.
It's the government. I'm not actually being serious, but I kind of am. Now with this girl, I don't really get the sense that she's joking. Also, she's drunk, so drunk words are sober thoughts. Just saying, like, I think that actually might be a thought that exists in her brain. Somebody commented and said, sorry, officer, but it gives my Mrs. the ick. Somebody else said, at this point, I don't even want to have a girlfriend. Somebody else said, these videos totally made me...
I think the problem is some people watching this think they won't date me if they get the ick from these. That's not the case. It just irrationally gives the ick. Like, would you not date someone just because they gave you a bit of a, like, or something
lose
like
the want for a girlfriend?
Like,
and guys,
if
this
your
is the problem.
Like, oh yeah, I'd watch 50 Shades of Grey, I like it. You'll be like, ugh. But you might not date.
This is a silly trend. It's a stupid thing that took off on TikTok, but it is actually a problem, because these types of obnoxious statements is yet another reason why there is a growing divide between men and women in our dating world, and why more and more men are just throwing up their hands and saying, fine, I won't date at all. We've talked about that a lot. We've talked about how men are just saying, nope, I don't need to date. I don't want to date. I don't want to even try. I don't want to be on dating apps.
I agree, but I see there's just as many women putting up their hand saying they don't want to date either because of reasons. Like,
and you wonder why.
A lot of people
seriously
just don't
wonder
want to
why.
date
Like, wake up, ladies. You're making requests like these. Like, I've been sitting here and I'm genuinely trying to think about it, but I think that I only have one ick, and it's not even really about guys specifically. It's about people who feed their dogs dead food. That is my ick. And that is why Rough Greens is so important to me. And by feeding my dogs Rocky and Tater Rough Greens every single morning, I'm making sure that I'm not giving myself a red flag. Rough Greens knows that dog food is dead food, and your pet's health is just as important as your health. Rough Greens is a supplement that contains all the necessary vitamins, minerals, probiotics, omega oils, digestive enzymes, and antioxidants that your dog needs every single day. Things they're probably not getting from their traditional kibble. And my favorite part about Rough Greens, I literally say this every week, but it is my favorite selling point, is you don't have to go out and buy some fancy, expensive new dog food. You don't have to do all the research. They've done it for you. You can just sprinkle Rough Greens support your dogs. Team at Rough Greens, improve your dog's health, that they are offering a trial bag free. Jump to a few business, or you can call 877 my dog today. With you, there will be no more icks on my watch. But I digress. Here's another real ick.
Everyone has icks. I don't like when men know how to cook, because why do you? This is crazy. I have heard this. Like,
excuse me, I thought that you wanted men to do everything for you. Here we go.
Okay.
Oh,
I feel like that's more of a bias. I thought you wanted men to do everything
Don't know how to cook.
I feel like that's just a reputation of her bias, because that's just based on nothing, her saying that. But, like, yeah, I've heard people who literally think this, but it's because they want to be a caretaker or something. It's just like, dude, it won't take away from that.
I thought that was such a turn off. Like, you meet a guy and all he knows how to make are microwavable chicken nuggets. That's probably on the list.
Chicken nuggets. I would say that this comes back to insecurity.
Like, I seriously would assume that is a green flag. In my eyes, that is a major green flag. Like, where are these expectations coming from? It makes no sense.
It still is.
They don't stop. Somebody said she'll change your...
Okay, the problem is if they're young, it's not going to be seen. But what you're going to see is for anyone above like 22, because those are college interviews, it's going to be a really an attractive trait, because that's the thing.
In a few years, she's going to be looking for a guy that cooks. Yes, you will be. Another guy said, damn, what, I gotta eat TV dinners and fast food my whole life? According to that girl, you might have to.
She'll be looking for a man that cooks in the future.
The whole thing is just ridiculous. Men need to be men, and they need to provide, but don't be too masculine, because that's sexist and patriarchal, but you should never assume that a woman...
I think that male standards are just more acceptable. Like, I don't think those aren't real standards. Those aren't standards. Those are things that give you the ick, meaning they just give you a ick. They're not standards. Like,
man has to cook and clean, but also, if you know how to cook as a man, that's a red flag. What do women want?
It's not... Because a lot of guys want women that can cook and etc.
That's simple.
What
look a certain way.
do you want?
Can you imagine being a 22-year-old man on TikTok in our modern era, scrolling and seeing these types of videos, and like your head is exploding. Like I genuinely don't know what I have to do because nothing I do is right. Even if it's a joke. The fact that this is out there, it is obviously confusing. And no wonder guys are throwing in the towel. Now, I've shown you a few videos of this guy adding them to the list. There are tons of other videos out there with more extended explanations for why certain things are an ick. But I wanted to pause on some of his videos while he's scrolling to see what the other icks were. And just remember, this list is almost 600 items long now. I want to read you some of my favorites. Don't smile. Don't.
But honestly, I like with the standard thing, I think there are people with high standards and low standards on both sides of the field here. Because you'll give up on dating altogether. Yeah, I saw a little bit from my friend, because I've never online dated, because I don't want to. And I've seen a little bit from my friend. People just put in the most generic crap. Like, how are you supposed to actually find anyone that actually matches with you? And the lying. It isn't the point to find someone who is a perfect, like, a good match for you. Why lie? Just tell the truth so you can find that match for you. I don't understand. I bet that don't be truthful is like stuff for like when they say, would you love me as a worm?
Don't be happy. Don't be truthful. Don't walk downhill. Don't tie your shoes, but I'm sure that having Velcro shoes is an ick as well.
Ew, no, David.
Don't be born in a certain month or listen to country music. Don't have a birthday.
I've seen some crazy
could you just not be born? Could you be like Zeus's daughter and just come out of his head? Maybe that'd be great. Don't fall over. Don't have a bath. Don't have a hobby. Don't carry a bag. Don't breathe.
Dude, I've like failed these. If I'm getting an ick test, I would fail all these. I take a bath, I fall all the time.
Put your car blinkers on. That's a personal favorite of mine. Don't breathe while talking. Don't have a shower. Don't go bowling. They would not like to know that my fiance was on the varsity bowling team. And I love him for that. Don't be named something starting with a J. Don't.
But that's the thing, like these icks, one is from one person, one is from other. So if you put in the world standards from either side, it's gonna be a fucking long list if you try and say every single woman or every single man wants these things. If it happens, great. If not, exactly. Match rate, that means they click yes, isn't it? Like, but isn't it like statistically that men click yes to everyone and then choose after they match? Or something? It's like, it's like, but women look at profiles and stuff? But I would say women generally have nicer profiles than men too, so it's like I've seen some of them, they are horrendous.
Don't run in water. Don't go skiing.
Yeah, the word
don't walk
standard
up
from
steps.
each
So you
woman
can't
into a
walk
list.
downhill, but you also can't go on steps.
So
you just need to stay in one
this
place.
isn't
You need
just
to walk
something for
completely
every woman
horizontally.
once.
You want to climb a mountain?
This is
So
like
sorry,
probably
you
a
cannot. Don't
500
eat chicken
woman's
nuggets.
icks.
What did I tell you? I told you that was going to be a problem. But you also can't cook. Don't have OCD. Don't be affected by wind.
But that's because men are more.
Like, are you like so dumb?
A lot of dating hats are to fuck, not to. Like, a guy on those apps are usually looking to bang, not for a relationship, but a lot of girls aren't just on there to bang. So, of course, there's going to be different, because if you're looking for a relationship, you have higher standards, but if you're willing to try and have a good time with anyone, I'm not affected by wing.
Dumb, guys. It's so dumb. And yes, I can take a joke. I understand that some of these are sarcastic and some girls are looking for a reaction. They want to get a rise out of guys. But again, the fact that it is normal.
See, I think a bald thing is if you like men, you should be prepared for your man to be bald at some point. You know? So that's why I'm like, I have no problem with bald men, because I'm a realist that if I'm gonna date and marry a man, no matter what happens, he will be bald one day.
And acceptable, and people like to make fun of men for totally normal and often very nice good things is ridiculous. And that is the real problem. And a lot of these women are not joking. They aren't making jokes. They are genuinely turned off by some of these things. And we've talked about this before, but it's getting to the point where men are not only giving up on dating, but they are becoming proud of themselves for giving up on the entire concept, which is a sad reality that all of this has resulted in. Here's an article.
There's also a movement for women called the 4B movement or so, which is a similar group of women giving up on dating or whatever that I've seen around. But I would, agree to this, that some people have these odd standards, but you're not going to date 500 people, so only like a small percentage actually matters to you. Unless you're trying to be viable to the entire populace of women.
Giving up on dating, understanding the hashtag MGTOW movement, and that stands for the men going their own way movement, and this article highlights it, and it...
Every first date with someone who's a stranger is a risk, you have to realize, realistically. More for women. Because, going out and meeting a stranger is portrayed as dangerous. So, would put a wig on me if it bothers her, because I don't care. Exactly, it's fine. So I would say that's the thing, like, I would not just say yes to any man for a date, because that's awkward. And I don't want to be stuck on a date with someone that I don't know I like. You know what I mean?
It explains some of the reasons why men have gone their own way and have given up on dating, and it directly correlates to the icks that so many of these women are making fun of and talking about online. One guy said, quote, I haven't completely given up on dating women, but I am currently on a hiatus. I may end up alone forever, probably because my standards are still too high. Still, I won't settle until I can find someone who holds herself to the same standards that she holds me to. That's so good.
I completely...
And you know what? I can't fault him for it.
I don't fault this for anyone. It's like, I don't fault him for it. I don't fault anyone for this one. Hold yourself to the same standards you expect of other people. That is a fine standard to have for dating, in my opinion. If you do not follow your own moral code, you can't expect anyone else to. So that's why I would agree with that. I just think it's a thing for everyone. Man or woman, expect from your partner what you expect from yourself. Them though, because I want to be friends with them first. So if I met someone, I would be friends with them. So, but I wouldn't go to a random dating app to meet people, because I'm not looking to date. If I find someone I really like from a friend group, that's great, but I'm not looking to date. So I'm not going to go out of my way. I'll make friends with people through lots of events, through friends of a friends or whatever, but like, I'm not going to go out of my way and meet complete strangers.
At all, because that's very understandable. That's not bad at all. If women are going to have these crazy ick lists and these crazy demands, then they should be holding themselves to an equal standard of perfection that they are expecting. Here's a story from another man. He said, to be honest, I'm just tired. I feel like every girl I meet has a list of expectations for me. I just want to be myself. Literally a list of expectations. And like I've said before, and like I will always say, men and women alike should have standards. That is an extremely important and healthy practice in dating. But as we've seen online,
have standards, but be yourself. Don't, like, cool parts of your personality you shouldn't change. Like, don't force yourself into weird kinks. Don't force yourself into certain things. There's one thing if you think you're actually being unreasonable or something like that, like actual communication issues, but don't pretend to be someone else to get someone. Never works out. Yes, two fellow degens. But yeah, like, I go to a lot of,
expectations are getting blurred with superficial red flags and icks, and it is becoming impossible for men to keep up. It's becoming impossible for them to figure out what is sarcastic, what's a joke, or what is some actually very unrealistic standard that they have to live up to. Another guy said, I do not feel motivated to put in the effort. It's been a year since I've given up dating, and I've grown to love my peace where I do not have to have my every action, purchase, and thought questioned or attacked. Like, that's genuinely hard.
I agree with this. I dated someone for a long time, and I enjoyed being single for this exact same reason. They were very, the guy I dated was very controlling, etc. And enjoying peace and being able to spend money how you want feels amazing. That's why you should only date someone that fits right. Don't love me for me, you ain't worth
heartbreaking. They don't feel like they can be themselves. They don't feel like they're respected. Everything they do is attacked. Again, no wonder they've given up on dating. That
is a bad relationship. That is... Everyone's had them bad relationships, and that is just the sad part of dating in general, is you're gonna find more stinkers than diamonds.
It's not what dating should feel like. If you expect a man to treat you like a princess, to give up things that you don't like, to be this perfect person for you that you have in your list, if you want him to put in the work, you need to treat him with the same kindness, the same respect, and the same adoration that he has for you. And if he has a list, you better figure out a way to fall in line. It's really not that complicated.
Okay, if he has a list, you could fall in line, but she just said not to have their list. I don't know. My opinion on this scene is about to finish is just that the whole do unto others, do unto yourself bullcrap, but like, obviously, but I don't think you should have high standards for others if you don't have for yourself and whatnot. But I think both sides, in general, dating is trash. The whole point why dating is terrible is because you go through a lot of relationships that don't fit. Are a numbers game. The more people you meet, the higher the chances. Exactly. And I personally, how I meet people is being friends with them. If a guy won't be a friend with me before he tries to date me, then he's not the kind of guy I want to date. Yeah, exactly. It's a numbers game, because trying to match up with someone who appreciates all the things you like is very difficult, because we're all such different, unique people. But that's why I personally am friends with anyone. If someone actually wanted to, it's like, oh, can we go on a date? But I just met them. It's like, oh, I only date people I've known for a while. I only go on dates with people I go out. But again, Australia doesn't have a things like Americans, I think, date a lot, go on dates before becoming boyfriend and girlfriend. And Oz, it's a little different. You don't go on many dates before being boyfriend and girlfriend. If any. So most people just go straight to dating. But I heard it's changing a bit, but I don't really get on the dating scene much, because the only people I've kind of, like, gotten to know or thought about dating were friends. People I knew for a long time. A lot of people like to test run inside a relationship. Some people like to test run outside of a relationship. I test run outside. I have to be friends with someone first. Compatibility. Similar. Relationships just happen. Exactly. Relationships just happen. And also, I think a lot of these dating apps are made to have one-night stands. I don't think one-night stands are conducive to finding a real partner at all. Personally. Like, I've never had a one-night stand. I'm never gonna have a one-night stand. Like, if you actually want that, if you actually want a full-time relationship, I don't think that's a way to find it. But if you want to have some sex, that's a way to get that. But getting sex and getting a real relationship are very different. But bye, Django, have a good night! And that is the end of us yapping about this. I agree with some things. I do think the ick list is getting out of control. Like, that's what happens with trends. When they go on for so long, they just become nothings.